From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Ski Patrol started coming down, telling us we were all getting evacuated by rope.
We are working towards getting the lift back open.
Chairlift safety in the spotlight, the latest after a skier fell from Red Lodge's triple chair and what the mountain is doing moving forward.
We're still working to encourage the president to establish the tariff.
It would be hard for any of us to predict how that outcome is.
Tariffs weighing on the minds of beef ranchers, what some say they're concerned about now.
Only here in Wyoming will you see a horse on an elevator in a nursing home.
Hooves in the halls, how a nonprofit is bringing some Western joy to our older generations. All this and more to come. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Wednesday, March 12th. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Augusta.
Yeah, welcome to your Wednesday, everybody. Hope it's a great week for you so far. And just, we keep saying this, but very spring-like conditions with winds and maybe 60s and cool temperatures as well.
And, you know, there was some thought that some areas could flirt with some 70s over the next couple of days. I don't think we'll quite get there here in Billings. I think we're going to have some cloud cover that could keep us down. But still, like Augusta said, warmer than average. Now, we didn't quite hit 60 yesterday. We thought we'd get into the low 60s, but because of the cloud cover, and we were still kind of in the wake of that cold front, we hit 58, but still a good 10 degrees above the norm. Our low of 27, pretty on par for this season, time of the season anyway. Top gust yesterday of 20 miles an hour. Still going to be somewhat breezy, of course, along the western foothills. Still some stronger winds. We can have gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour over the next couple of days, maybe even stronger at times. It's been dry the last few days, so we're in the hole for the month, but still pacing ahead for the year. Snow totals in the hole for the month, but still ahead for the season. Now, we do have a little bit of snow in our forecast as we wake up on Friday morning. We'll tell you about totals coming up here in just a little bit. 33 right now at the airport, humidity at 78%, dew point temperatures at 27 degrees, winds out of the west at about 3 miles an hour. Across the area, we've got temperatures mainly in the 30s, do have some 20s, and we have a little bit of precipitation up there to our northeast, but we get ready for the bigger push that's going to try to come in Thursday, Friday. We will take a look at that with the main forecast coming up.
All right, much to come, Miller. Thanks for tracking all those details, and we are checking back in on a ski trip that took a terrible turn for one man when erratic wind gusts led to him getting airlifted to the hospital Monday. This was the scene up at Red Lodge Monday afternoon as hundreds of skiers and boarders were evacuated from that lift. And it all happened on a day when the ski area's second busiest lift, Willow Creek, also shut down due to mechanical issues. This is video from 2 weeks ago of the Willow Creek lift when a chair could be seen dangling awkwardly from a cable above. And this morning, our Charlie Kleps spent this week up on the mountain and is looking into this problem that seems to be piling up when it comes to Red Lodge Mountain's chairlifts.
It's a bit of an eerie feeling here on Red Lodge Mountain Tuesday. As you can see behind me, the triple chair is closed after Monday's incident, and up the mountain, Willow Creek hasn't been open for weeks, both raising concerns and questions about the safety of the lifts. In lots of ways, it looked like a typical spring day at Red Lodge Mountain. Sunshine with skiers carving turns, boarders clipping in, and a packed beer stew.
I have nothing but good memories up there.
But on Monday, things weren't so pleasant.
I've honestly never seen it that windy.
Winds ripped across the mountain, and the resort says it knocked a man out of his chair.
We ended up with an unseated passenger situation. We're still in an investigation of the full situation.
The report isn't saying how far the man might have fallen, but he was life-flighted to a Billings hospital.
And then once I heard like somebody fell off, or then I'd heard the chair had possibly derailed, then I'm thinking, okay, what about the rest of the ride?
Robert Tambo was stuck on a chair with his son.
I'm not too fond of heights, and then shaking around at that height was not a fun experience.
Yeah, we're gonna start lowering you. Okay, go ahead.
One by one, Ski Patrol helped hundreds of other skiers rappel off of the lift.
Most terrifying aspect of it was having a child sitting next to me. Worrying about if he's okay.
And the triple chair isn't the only lift currently at a standstill.
We could probably cut these little cables. That's all that's holding it on.
Willow Creek, the only other lift able to transport skiers to mid-mountain, has been closed for 2 weeks. And this video shows why.
As you can see in the video, we had a chair failure.
A chair nearly detached. Fortunately, no one was on it. GM Spencer Weimer says the mountain is now testing each chair one by one. So far, 80 have been inspected and all are safe.
If we do find a mechanical situation that requires us to not operate the chair, we're going to go through our procedures.
Procedures Weimer says are always important, with changes made daily. Lifts are also inspected annually by a third party.
Every ski area operates, and evaluates their operating procedures every single day.
But on this day, every skier's worst nightmare came true. A memorable day for all who were there for all the wrong reasons.
That was a whole new experience. Not something I don't want to go through again.
In Red Lodge, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Charlie, thanks so much. And again, there's still much we don't know about Monday's incident, but we do know this isn't the first time Red Lodge Mountain has encountered problems with its chairlifts. Let's go back in time. As MTN News first told you in 2023, the ski area was sued 5 years ago after two men said they were seriously injured when the chair they were riding on, the Willow Creek chair, detached from the hull rope. Willow Creek is one of Red Lodge's oldest chairs. The riblet-style lift opened to the public in 1959. It's the same style chair that ejected a 4-year-old off a chairlift at Snowbowl near Missoula in 2023. And some experts say riblets tend to swing after a misload. The riblet-style lift is no longer manufactured, which makes them difficult to repair.
What I can say about the riblet lift is that there's still over 100 in operation in the U.S. And a lift is kind of like a car. So even if a car isn't being manufactured anymore, you're still replacing parts. You have that general body of it, but you replace the stuff of it.
As for that 2023 lawsuit, we learned of a settlement reached last year. The case was then dismissed. One of the skiers said he suffered a concussion, the other a dislocated shoulder. And this follows a previous incident from back in 2011 when a chair detached from the Willow Creek lift after blowing up against a tower. Deaths and serious injuries from chairlifts are rare. Most ski injuries occur when people are heading down the mountain, not up on the lifts. According to the National Ski Areas Association, there have been 16 deaths nationwide stemming from 9 mechanical malfunction incidents since 1973. Most occurred in the 1970s and 80s. There have been a total of 14 deadly falls from chairlifts. 6 were the results of medical incidents that occurred while folks were on the lift. And now let's pivot to some political news. The talk of tariffs, of course, continues to dominate in Washington, D.C. this week. The United States and Canada appear to be dialing back some threats after a discussion between both parties. That comes after President Donald Trump said he would raise tariffs on Canada to 50% starting today. But as our David J. reports, one of the bigger industries is keeping a close eye on all of these happenings. It's the beef industry, as many look to learn a new reality.
Tariffs would potentially affect the cattle industry. We had a chance to talk with leaders of 2 different ranching organizations who have a different take on how tariffs would affect beef.
America is divided over tariffs, and so are ranchers in Montana. Turk Stovall is the first vice president of the Montana Stock Growers Association and is hearing from Montana ranchers. He says feeder cattle out of Montana often cross the border to Canada, get fed and finished, and come back to a U.S. processor.
I was talking with a producer on the High Line who was selling a large string of cattle into Canada, and due to the announcements and due to the uncertainty, it stopped that sale.
And Stovall also is worried about the impact tariffs could have.
Depending on how they're applied and what products they're applied to, can have a negative effect to that system.
But there are 2 sides to the tariff debate. Bill Bullard, RCAF USA CEO, says tariffs would help the beef industry to potentially expand production.
If you put a tariff on and incentivize domestic production, you will increase jobs, you will increase tax payments, you will increase economic activity in rural America and all across America.
According to the USDA, the U.S. is expected to import $220 billion in agriculture products in 2025, while exporting $171 billion. Tariffs, Bullard argues, would potentially help that $59 billion trade deficit.
These products are coming in cheaper than our domestic producers are able to produce them for. And what the multinational meat packers have been doing is importing this cheaper product.
Bullard says that trade deficit means the U.S. relies heavily on other countries for food. The president's executive order states the U.S. has the world's largest trade deficit at $1 trillion, and tariffs are a tool to help with national security.
We certainly agree with the president that the United States needs to begin implementing tariffs, using tariffs as a legitimate economic tool.
But others like Stovall say while he understands the strategy, he's not sure tariffs will address national security.
If this administration views that the tariffs are better for us in the long term, then I guess so be it, and we are going to have to work through that.
two takes on tariffs. One area where both of these men can agree is that other challenges will continue for Montana farmers and ranchers.
They are already faced with so many other challenges.
Tariffs are not the silver bullet, but they're a very important step in the right direction for America.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thanks so much. And new today, dozens of high school students walk out in Roundup yesterday, all in support of a beloved teacher. And while the superintendent told us she resigned, others feel there's more to this story. And with more on this situation, here's Q2's Matt Carmack.
At Monday night's school board meeting,
she puts in countless hours, always early and stays late.
It was everybody. It was everybody a part of the community.
A community in support for Jessica Ollinger, a teacher and coach at Roundup High School who recently resigned.
The way they treated her is just, it's unjust.
She loves her job. She presents herself so well. She's always happy. Never seen a frown on that woman's face.
Students walked out of school Tuesday morning to the local park in support.
She's been such a big part of students' lives. She goes above and beyond for her students.
Honestly, this is our education that's being played with, and we just don't appreciate it. And we as students, we have a voice, and to be honest, it's been a long time since we've used it.
Students and parents told MTN the teacher had been asking questions about money from a cheerleading fundraiser.
They have well over enough money in their bank to get new uniforms, and they denied that with no reasoning, and then basically told her, you either resign or we're going to fire you.
The students say Tuesday's walkout was a sign of support for this beloved teacher.
She put in the thought and effort into teaching us. At the end of the day, if that means supporting a teacher that has been there for everybody, then that's what I'm going to do.
In Roundup, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Mac, thanks so much. Some students did mention that they feared they would receive a 2-week suspension for yesterday's walkout, but the Roundup superintendent says that is not the case.